Dragon Ball Sagas tier list. Let's start at the bottom. We have Jiren. He's generic, he's boring. In a tournament full of cool and interesting characters, he's one of the least. Then we got Broly. I assume this is the Broly from the Z movies, not the Super movies. Underwhelming. He's the legendary Super Saiyan, so there is a bit of intrigue in that, but not much. Golden Frieza, same thing. It's just Frieza once again, but not nearly as interesting as the other times we see Frieza. It is what it is. Frieza is what he is. I don't mind having him. He's interesting in other kind of aspects of him, but Golden Frieza, he's just nothing compared to Beerus. It just there's no reason to have Frieza again. It's kind of a bland choice. Omega Shenron, just super not worth. Um, the problem with Omega Shenron is the build up to him is so lame. Unlike Cell, where you have like the androids who are really interesting, and there's a lot to building up to Cell. With Omega Shenron, all the different Shenrons are just not that cool. Some of them are just kind of like bland filler stuff, and I love filler stuff, but when it's like culminating in the big bad of all of this, it just doesn't it just wasn't executed all that well, and there's nothing interesting about him. He doesn't do all that much. He isn't there all that long. And then let's go into Super 17. Super 17, really bland. It's Android 17 again, but like fused with alternate universe or like space Android 17. The coolest thing about that was all of the other people like Frieza and Cell and like Nappa shows up. Everything outside of 17 Super 17 was cool, but since they're depicting him as himself, I have to rank him really low partially based off just the fact that they have him as the image of him and they don't have the entire like saga necessarily. I mean, I'm factoring that in, but ultimately it's dragged down by the core guy being so lame, despite everything else being kind of cool. Because all that other cool stuff you just get a glimpse of. Hit is way more interesting than Jiren. That he actually has like kind of a character, a personality. His powers are way more interesting than Jiren. Jiren's just like a tough guy, a bland as can be tough guy, just like Omega Shenron. But with Jiren, the fact that he's surrounded, that he exists in a tournament full of more interesting characters, it puts him down even lower. And then we have Baby. Baby's pretty cool. Baby ultimately becomes a lot more cooler when he becomes Baby Vegeta. But yeah, really, I like Baby. I like Baby quite a bit. Grandpa Gohan. Nothing wrong with Grandpa Gohan. It is what it is. Tien. Um, I love the original series of Dragon Ball, but they aren't the best of the best in that aspect. As you can see at the top, Mr. Piccolo is the best of the best. Um, then we have Kid Buu. I found Kid Buu to be very inferior and uninteresting compared to Majin Buu. Like Majin Buu has more clothes and is just seems more like dangerous. I found Kid Buu to just be like lame and like they took away all of his personality. And literally he's a kid because he absorbed Gotenks, who's loaded with personality. So just really disappointing. And I get they needed to change him up a whole bunch, but it's like, all right, enough with the different forms of Boo now. We don't have to get 10 forms for every villain all the time. And Majin Buu himself is like, he's more interesting because he's more of a force of nature. He's just this hungry monster, but he also has like a bit of humanity to him, whereas the other forms just don't have any humanity to them. So Majin Buu is just way better than them. Then we have the goat guy. I forget his name. It's like Maru or something. This guy, we haven't seen him yet in anime form. He should be showing up eventually. Hopefully we get him in that storyline. But I can only go based off of assumptions and assuming that they'll drop the ball, gloss over him, and go to somebody else. So I'm probably dead wrong, but I'm going to place him in B tier just because I just haven't seen him yet. I have high hopes for him, but who knows what's going to happen. Jackie Chun. Jackie Chun's awesome. Very deserving of A tier. Android 17, 18. We'll just imagine that 16's also there. Really cool. I like them more than Cell, but Cell's the culmination of them, and the stuff that happens between these guys being the bad guy and Cell being the bad guy is really important, like story-wise and like headcanon-wise. There's a lot of stuff in there which like shows why Goku defeats all kinds of characters like Superman and stuff, mostly because he charges a Kamehameha and fires it at Cell while using instant transmission, and that just makes him busted as can be. And there's just so much cool like character stuff, and having so much changes in this time period of the show, and it changes rather quickly. A lot of intriguing crap going on. Baby, I just think Baby Vegeta is incredible. It works so much better than like Majin Vegeta because Baby has more control over Vegeta. It finally strikes that balance well of having a character be possessed and having it be like a real threat. It just works really well. It's hard to explain to anybody who hasn't seen it. Goku Black and Zabuza, really cool. I wish we had gotten more of these guys. We could have used more. Dark Goku is something that I've been wanting to exist for so long, and I wanted more of it. These guys are really cool. It's probably debatably the best part of Super. But as you can see, Beerus is higher on the list, and I'll give reasons why. Tao was freaking awesome, vicious, incredible. Love Tao. Love the Emperor. Really awesome villains. Interesting. Yeah, just great stuff in Dragon Ball. Then we have Beerus, who is such a great addition to the show. His conflict with Majin Buu, he brings the comic relief, and then he just has genuine friendships with like Goku and Bulma in a way that really works well. And then he has to also balance and like be a dynamic in the group, and there's this weird back and forth where like Goku and Vegeta are scared of Beerus, but Beerus is scared of them, and you don't know who's right. And they did a really good job with this character. And then we have Piccolo in his two different forms, King Piccolo and then regular Piccolo, which if you don't know, like regular Piccolo is like the reincarnation. He's even stronger than King Piccolo. And Piccolo is just awesome. Just a great addition to the show. Hilarious. Once he joins the Z Fighters, he has so many awesome moments of just ridiculous, him taking everything seriously and no one else is. One of my favorite moments is they enter the tournament, the one that leads into the Buu saga, and he enters as Majunior, and like Krillin and the others are like, who's Majunior? And Piccolo's like, I'm Majunior. I figured we should use code names since people know who we are and they might be after us. You never know. And they're like, that's a great idea. And then it's just like nothing else really happens, and I just find that so funny that he came up with this like actually smart idea, but either the others didn't listen to him, or what more likely happened based off their confusion is he just didn't tell them. Like he just sees them as like a lost cause, and he's just gonna actually like walk the walk of being like a serious defender of the universe, and they just won't. Like he's just given up on being the leader. He's just leading by example and it's not really working. And the fact that and then he uses the code name Junior, which, if you remember him when he shows up as the reincarnated Piccolo, he enters that tournament as Junior. And he's a Namekian on Earth. If anyone doesn't need to disguise their identity in this tournament, it's Piccolo. He's literally a green and pink guy who's like tall and very noticeable. And the fact that he entered the tournament a long time before as Junior, and his code name now is Mud Junior. Like, what? It does, like, on so many levels, nothing here makes sense, and I just love it. And King Piccolo is like super vicious and just like a pure evil. Such a powerful presence to him when he's there. Awesome villain. Same with Vegeta and Frieza. Obviously with Vegeta, it's very nice to finally have Goku go up against somebody of his own race. I mean, yeah, he also does that with Raditz and Nappa, but Vegeta actually like turns into a great ape, and you're just getting more of a sense of what a Saiyan even is, and it's just really cool. And having Raditz and Nappa be such good like mini bosses to the big boss of Vegeta is just epic, super epic. And same thing with Frieza. I don't really like that Frieza has so many different forms, but Frieza they do such a good job building up the Frieza, right? The fact that Vegeta had worked for Frieza, that Frieza has all this entire army that consists of these like very serious soldiers like Vegeta, the Saiyans, the Ginyu Force, like Dodoria and Zarbon. These people who have a whole big variety of powers, and who at the start of the arc, a lot of them individually one-on-one would crush Goku, but Goku gets to like progress through them and level up to where he finally reaches that level of Super Saiyan. That's why people like have such an emotional attachment to like Super Saiyan as a concept. It's the work that Goku had to do, what he had to go through, the build up, the starting small and ending large. It's just so epic. And Frieza's such an iconic villain. Just literal like pirate slaver, willing to destroy planets and races of people. Just a vicious, horrible person. Just incredible stuff. So yeah, that's my Dragon Ball Sagas tier list. Let me know what like filler saga should have been included on here that isn't. Obviously there's no like Garlic Jr. There's no General Rildo. I love that weird robot planet. There's all kinds of stuff that isn't on here that, you know, as much as these things, like, I agree they deserve their credit, they deserve their due. This list is pretty loaded up regardless. There is an F tier, but I just put stuff where I genuinely don't remember who this guy is, and I assume this is Frieza in the Tournament of Power, which is the worst form. I would put that in F anyway. And I'm just confused as to why it's even there. Like, we really need three Friezas. I don't remember if Frieza is Golden Frieza in the Tournament of Power or not. Don't recall. But that might be the Frieza that shows up in GT. Either way, it is what it is. I would put New Broly way high. Like, New Broly is a million times better than Old Broly, because Old Broly doesn't have a personality, doesn't have a character whatsoever. But yeah, hope you enjoy. I want to make a lot more Dragon Ball content, because There's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in this franchise. It's so insane, such a wild ride, and it's so easy to like forget little details. It's awesome stuff. Hope you enjoy. Hit like, subscribe. There'll be more coming. Have a great day. Happy holidays, son.